going to get started on our great content. So I'm going to hand it over to Tiffany and Diana, who are going to talk a little bit about the challenge, where we started and where we're going.
Great. Thanks, Heather. So welcome, everyone. It's super excited to be here as part of a launch. So my name is Diana Ideus, and I'm past president of ICFLA from 2023. So the origin story of Coast to Coast was the president of the time of Washington, D.C., Jerusalem Howard, and I both were instructors for University of Texas of Dallas. So shout out, because I know they're also the UT North Dallas chapter is joining for this challenge as well. And so he reached out to me and said, hey, why don't we do something for International Coaching Week? Because for those of you who are on the board, you know that one of the things we do is try to collaborate amongst chapters. And when he was talking about what DC had, they had pro bono, and Los Angeles hasn't historically had pro bono. So as we talked about it, I thought, well, let's not make this a big lift. Let's make pro bono coaching an easy thing. If we're going to hold space for people to be resourceful and whole, then let's ask people to be resourceful and whole. Let's offer pro bono coaching, which can be something as well that can help coaches build their business, because that's something that's so often missing. In my opinion, if ICW is just like a Hallmark holiday, which is great. I mean, celebrating the ICF and celebrating that as coaches, but at the same time, how's that serving us as coaches, and how is that supporting our businesses? So that was the hope with the original Coast to Coast. And I thought, let's just make this small. What if we just make it 3 hours and we make it like a water cooler challenge and we blast it all over LinkedIn? And so thankfully, my president year, I was joined by the epically amazing chief of staff, Tiffany. And so I came to Tiffany and I was like, can we do this? Will you help me do this? So while technically this was an ICFLA challenge, this thing was a brainchild baby that's now turning 3 years old, between Tiffany and I. So I'll pause there, Tiffany, if you want to talk a little bit more about year one.
Absolutely. So during year one, essentially, it was just getting everything up and running and making sure that we captured our impact. So what we ended up doing was changing out the graphics on the page. So the page that you registered through, we're going to update the graphics each week that we're in this actual challenge. During the first year, where we ended up with everything, and I'm actually going to share slides so that you could see the impact, how it's changed year to year. We started out with 73 coaches that committed those 3 hours. They reported back doing 271 hours of coaching across 243 clients. So that year one became our benchmark for what happened. As you see, year two, it completely took off a life of its own, especially with the inclusion of chapters like San Francisco, who wanted to include mentor coaching, group coaching, and supervision. So the graphic got bigger, and so did our impact. So then we practically doubled, or more than doubled, our coaches with 169 coaches, 700 hours of coaching. Talk about sharing the power of coaching. We included mentor coaching, group coaching, supervision, and 645 clients. So as you could see, not only were we able to get coaching and get hours towards credentialing or towards impact with our communities, but we were also able to expand our reach into the different areas of coaching.
Yeah. Thanks, Stephanie. And what we found with these tallies and with these maps is that also we have coaches all over the world who we've invited who aren't necessarily filling out the badge or didn't necessarily sign up. So in that first year, I got this great message from the Dominican Republic, and I was like, Dominican Republic, you are not on the map. Please sign up for the challenge. But they were already challenging each other and they had a bunch of people. And so they came in for the next year. Or we had someone report that someone in the Ivory Coast. So this thing is truly, it's coast to coast because it started with California and Washington. But then if we look at coast to coast and we go around the whole world. So the cool thing is we have more hours and more countries and states and provinces than we even have documented for this. But at the same time, if and when you phone a friend or invite a friend to do this, please make sure they actually sign up so that we're able to measure their impact. We are happy to have coaches out there who are just offering this out of the good of their hearts and going rogue. I think that's fantastic. That seems like a great thing for International Coaching Week. But at the same time, making sure that we have an opportunity to celebrate together, because what'll happen this year has a launch event, but then also we're able to reach out to those people and invite them back. And we have a video that I did last year with one of our LA coaches who's in Japan, and about just the networking opportunities. So building relationships with other coaches, building your businesses, in addition to doing good in our communities, especially as we think at it from a diversity, equity, inclusion perspective, doing good in our communities, but also creating community with each other. And if you have clients that sign on after these pro bono hours, there's no pressure for that, but that's not wrong. I think sometimes people don't make enough space for the actual money making of coaching, and some of us doing good in the world, that doing good has returns. So whatever we made this 3 hours, you're welcome to go more than that. We've extended this, I think, each year. It's gotten a little longer. So last year we're like, it's no joke, April 1st launch, but apparently April 1st is National Volunteer Month in the United States. So we paired it with that. But really just, we're glad you're here. Thank you for those that you impact. Thank you for those that you're inviting. But just great to be a part of something. And whether you're with a chapter or here as an individual, just really appreciate you taking your time to positively impact the community and be part of something bigger. Tiffany, any closing thoughts from you?
No, just thank you all for being here, and thank you in advance for the good work that you're about to do.
Great. And in no small part, the technology and the back end and the map and all of that stuff exists because of Tiffany, and also inviting other chapters. As someone who was raised in the Bay Area, when San Francisco beat LA for the hours, I was like, as a Giants fan, I appreciate that. As a Los Angeles chapter member, that's a little more challenging for me. Exactly. So just we want this to be fun. We want this to be easy, and then also just be an opportunity for you. And then we'd love to continue to collect your stories and your invitations. And if you know people in other states and countries who are coaches, and even people who maybe are leaders but don't identify as coaches who might be willing, anyone and everyone is welcome as we continue to grow this.
So a special thank you to Tiffany and Diana. As you heard, I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for them. I mean, I hope that they know, the two of you know how much impact you have made on all of us, the coaching world, the community. So give it up for Tiffany and Diana, because it's seriously an example for all of us how, I was going to say one person, but in this case, two people can make a huge impact. Just
We're
takes
better
one person.
together. Just want to say.
Oh, we are better together. That's our theme in ICFLA. So yes, so thank you. And then one last, just to repeat what Diana said, if you're taking notes, take a note that says, after this call, I am going to email, text, or call one friend coach and say, hey, I just heard about this awesome thing. Will you join? And here's the link for you to put your name in, because better together, we can make a difference, and please join me as a part of the challenge. Okay, so we are talking today all about pro bono coaching and the impact that we have and how we can make a difference in our communities. So I wanted to give you first just a little comment about how important it is. So coaching it's more than a job for all of us. I think we would all agree, if you nod your heads, right? It's a commitment to witnessing the growth and forward momentum of the people that we work with. And it's the reason why most of us chose this work. It's to help people make a difference in their lives. And while I understand that most of us also, it's our source of income and how we support ourselves and our family, the essence of providing this service, it really does extend far beyond business. If not, we would be doing a more transactional job that doesn't have the ability to make this kind of meaningful impact. And pro bono coaching, it is not about offering your services for free, which is sometimes people's belief. It's about gifting your expertise to those who may not only benefit, but it could transform people's lives. Think about that for a minute before I introduce our speakers. Transform people's lives. I am sure you have people that you have worked with, whether they've told you directly, or they know because of you, they are a different person, have a different life, have a different career, have a different experience on their journey, and you made that impact. So it's really, really meaningful. So with that, I'm going to introduce our two speakers. First is Nina Rubin. She's a PCC level coach and serves on the ICFLA Board of Directors as the Associate Director of Helping Hands. She's been coaching for 10 years and worked as a Gestalt psychotherapist before happily changing directions. So she'll talk a little bit about her way she thinks about her career journey. And then Dr. Kim Perkins is a leadership coach, consultant, and training designer who has worked with leaders at a wide variety of tech, entertainment, and science companies. Kim holds a PhD from Claremont Graduate University in positive psychology. Doesn't that sound awesome? In positive psychology with a specialty in organizational psychology and motivation. So I'm going to turn it over to Nina and Kim.
Excuse me. Hi, everybody. I'm really glad you're here, and I'm really glad to be here too. So we are going to be talking about how to get pro bono clients, how to gift your services for now or any time that you make the decision that you want to gift some services and some hours. So with that, Kim, would you start sharing? Perfect. So we'll be just talking briefly about getting pro bono clients and how to do that. Sometimes it seems like a big lift, like, oh, in order for me to gift pro bono clients, I need to find the best organization and gift my services to the neediest of people. And that is well and good, but we can also start smaller and much more manageable before we get into like helping a big organization with like millions and millions of people who are in need. So let's see what else we have here. So how is getting a pro bono client different from getting a paying client? Does anyone have a thought on that? Or Kim, do you have a thought?
Oh, I have a thought. Yeah. The honest answer is not really very different because it still starts with thinking about who you're already connected to and who and just striking up a conversation with people, and what we do very naturally, which is kind of figure out what people need and where people are at and where we might be able to attach and help them. And so the process is really not that different.
It sounds like it's a lot like storytelling.
Yeah, I think that's how we've talked about it, Nina, is that we have, in terms of perhaps striking up a conversation with somebody, finding out that they have a need, and working with that from there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think sometimes when I'm meeting somebody new, I reflect on my Rolodex of past clients and I think, oh, this person's need sounds similar, although not identical to somebody I already worked with. And I can maybe share some interesting things that that person has done to grow. That's something I do in just conversation.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we kind of start with here is thinking about who are we already connected to and uncovering our communities.
Yeah, so we'd like to open this up. So if you want to just blurt for a second, where are some of your communities that you are connected?
Oh, well, I'll start. So one of the things, I'm very active in my Buy Nothing group on Facebook. So I think that's a place where I might consider making a little post, for example, and say, hey, I'm doing a thing this week. If anybody's having a decision they're struggling with or would like some support, that I've got you, because those Buy Nothing groups are great for linking. But on the other hand, just doing it in person, besides giving us a lot of face-to-face time, which is really something that's very valuable and in short supply these days. There's so many ways that we can get involved just with people we already, and without even going the organizational route. Right.
So Marielle wrote that she's involved with the Healthcare Business Women's Association and SCORE. Somebody else wrote, Carolina wrote that she's connected to her alumni group and a different women's professional organization. I'm pretty involved in my yoga and gym classes. I go to a gym with lots of people and we talk every day. So that could be a place I might gift some services.
And these are places where when it's a little bit less densely populated than LinkedIn. So you're not there with all of these pitches. You're having a more personal connection.
Right. I know that I also have like a core group of people I sometimes go to concerts with. These are friends. I wonder if any of them would ever have a problem that they'd like to discuss. Like, I think they would. I know they would.
I would bet a lot of them are dying to talk to you about something or other, and having the opportunity offered to them to do this without a lot of commitment would be a really great gift for them.
Right. Right. So does anyone else have any other communities that they'd like to that they have uncovered that have been helpful for them, just in getting clients or getting pro bono clients, or actually just finding satisfaction for for themselves personally?
One thing I thought of is if you belong to any groups, relatively small groups on LinkedIn that are to your niche, that speak to your niche, you can say you're part of this big experiment, right? This big experiment or this big offering, and then just make say, hey, by the way, if anyone wants this is what I'm doing, and it gets your name out there at least if anyone is in the market for it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Somebody else wrote like service groups like Rotary or Optimist. Somebody's in a chorus and they sing. That's a great group. Also just cool in general. And so I think we all do a lot of things outside of our coaching practices. Oh, some people go to various services for religious purposes, and that's usually a good group. Other people belong to a homeowners association or apartment complex. And so things that we just do naturally are I believe, our first touch points.
Or the dog run, for example. Maybe you've got play dates. Maybe there's, my cats don't need walking, so I don't know. But if I have pet groups or things like that, that's another place.
Right. Also, like parent groups with their kids, preschool or elementary schools or PTAs. These are great places where you are already known and you know other people. So we've uncovered some communities. What's next? How would we design our pitch? What would we say either on LinkedIn or somewhere else, or to somebody talking? What would we say?
I'm a big believer in just having kind of a back pocket phrase for when it comes up. And so this is the one I came up with here, which is I'm offering pro bono sessions this week. I'd like to have a time element on it so it doesn't seem like it just drags off into the ether. Do you know somebody who's struggling with a decision I could support? And then the second part here is this sounds like Nina to me, which is great, which is, I often coach people who are whatever it is. And then I'd be happy to give them a free session. And this is such a flexible little script that you can use it for a lot of different things.
Yeah, I do this a lot. I was actually standing in line getting into yoga the other day. I was talking to a co-yoga guy, and he was telling me about his son looking for a new job and this and that. And I said, I often coach people who are in job transitions and who are young millennials. Would this be something he might be interested in? And the dad was like, my friend was like, I don't know if he's interested, but I'm interested for him. And so we definitely traded numbers, and we're in the process of hopefully being introduced to a son. So that was a quick throwaway comment that really actually has longer legs than what I thought could happen.
I'll just add that sometimes you know people that know organizations. So whether it's organizations doing good. So for example, there may be chapters like in Avila, we have like veteran surfers or food shelters, things like that. Sorry, not food shelters, food, homeless shelters. So wherever you can also pair with someone in an organization and potentially coach their staff. And if it's if it's with an organization, it's beyond what you have capacity for. At least in the past, we've had something where we circle back and we can provide pro bono. So just putting that out there as well. A lot of people like to be part of something. So even when you share that badge, if you end up with more pro bono than you want to take on, that's great because we have other coaches who may not be as comfortable asking those questions.
But I think also sometimes when we're offering pro bono sessions, we think we have to only go big. And I think that another way to start is by just talking to somebody at that organization and coaching them. And then through your relationship, then it can get bigger. But we don't have to start big first. We can start like,
Yeah, we don't have to
connected way.
approach an organization, make it a big campaign. It can start very small and personal, or you can go big. I might go around the corner to Friends Indeed, which is a women's and homeless shelter in my neighborhood, and introduce myself and try that.
Right. So how decide when you're gifting something, how you're going to book. Are you going to have a special link like Calendly or maybe your website has a booking link? Do you have a QR code? Do you want to do this personally through email or get on the phone and say, when is our next session? That's a decision that you can make.
Yeah, the QR codes are really easy to make through Bitly. If you haven't done it, you can just go bit.ly and make a QR code without even making an without even having to sign up in any way. I find that really useful. We all probably have Calendly links or something similar. If you have a special link for that, then it's pro bono. It kind of gives it a special a special impetus there. And there's any way, but I like to know this ahead of time so I don't get caught flat-footed when I'm in the conversation. So what gets in the way of doing this? You know, the fact that we're talking about this means that it's not necessarily the most intuitive or easy process. What gets in the way for people? And then let's think about how we can overcome that.
I think sometimes people don't know where to find people. They think there might be also too much competition, like, oh, these other people are going to gift it. And now my LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram feed is flooded with all these other people gifting. No one's going to care about me. They want to work with this other person.
Right. There's a lot of stories we tell ourselves about this. Exactly. I think a lot of people also think I'm already wanting to make more money in my business. Why am I giving something away for free?
Yeah.
But in fact, this is the pro bono coaching I've done and has always led to referrals, paying clients. And it's really more like spreading seeds. And, you know, I often say when I'm coaching entrepreneurs, we're over here shaking the apple trees, but somehow the asparagus comes up over here, you know? And so sometimes when you just put it out over here, it comes up over here. And I believe it all is grist for the mill. It all helps.
I agree with you. I also think that whenever I've gifted some sessions, I feel really good about it. Like, even if I don't get a new client right then, sometimes another client, just like you're saying, will pop up somewhere else. But I have felt proud and good that I've been able to support and help somebody, and they've had some greater awareness or they've made a big shift in their life, even from only a few hours. That feels very good to witness.
A worthwhile use of your time.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any ideas about some things that are coming up for them as might be like, ooh, I don't know if I can do that because of, if you're willing to share, we're willing to work with it.
I could share a success story though.
Oh, that's
I actually created a special link to give away free coaching last year at last year's event. I was giving a talk and I made that the gift to the group. And so I was able to do some pro bono coaching sessions in preparation for getting my MCC and filling in the application. But in the end, they've reached back out to me to come back to the group for a gig. So it didn't turn into more coaching clients, but it turned into something else I totally didn't expect.
Amazing, amazing. I love that. I'm always interested when you do something over here and it comes up over there. Anybody else have a success story to share?
I think what holds people back is often worth. Who am I to offer? Am I good enough for this? And so our hope is that this really, because it's a 3-hour commitment, that also puts some guardrails around it. Because I think also when you're gifting your time, especially if you're gifting your time to a cause that's very important to you, it can feel like I need to do more, I have to do more. So sometimes the hope is the constraints and the simplicity of it help, to be like, hey, like who doesn't have 3 hours? And it doesn't even have to be, that's part of why we extended the deadline from April 1st into mid-May so that people could make space for this. And I also know coaches that have met with people after the deadline because it's the idea of how we continue to kind of do good versus just having our work be for free.
That's great. How about Monica? Monica, you've got your hand raised.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that shocked me last year is I was at a party, just a normal party on a Friday night. You know how everyone always says, well, what do you do? And so I just was like, oh, I'm a coach and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, what do you care about? And I started talking about what I care about, not related to this or, just what's important to me in life. And they were like, oh my God, you've got to meet my friend, this person. And I, at that point, was really trying to actually work with a lot of women of color and those who are facing the glass ceilings. And I had done that in my own career. And this person introduced me to a whole bunch of people who were actually looking for another South Asian coach and couldn't really find someone that was in their orbit. So just randomly talking about what I care about kind of ended up connecting folks with folks. And then it wasn't something that I had done a lot of before with that particular population. So I actually said, let me try it pro bono, both to gain my confidence and then to just work with different people. And so if there's maybe an area that you're interested in, there's something like a new niche that you want to get into, this is a great way to practice your skills of going out there and networking, to practice, with clients that you've never maybe been within that niche, and in a way to contribute and be part of this challenge too. And then coming out of the challenge, you can really promote that and say, hey, I did this challenge. I started working with these types of populations, and add that to your book of business.
Monica, that's such a great point. There's really nothing more powerful than talking about the stuff we care about. You got to howl to find your pack, and it's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. How are we doing on time over here?
How about like 2 minutes?
Okay, we've still got a couple minutes to talk. That's great. Okay.
I'm
Yes,
so
please.
sorry to interrupt
Oh,
you, Dr.
no.
Perkins. Can I jump in with a question that I think for me right now, just given where I am in this journey of coaching, is the big, I don't know, can I do this kind of block I have in front of me? And that is that I'm like this close to signing up for reciprocal coaching through ICF. And so I guess my biggest question is, can I apply those hours, that experience to support this effort as well? I'm also envisioning a scenario where I'm doing the reciprocal coaching, but I'm also really supporting this greater effort because it really calls to me. And I love what Monica just shared about being very intentional in serving different communities. And so this is an opportunity to do that. So anyway, that's kind of that's what I'm seeing right now for myself.
I think Diana has some ideas about that.
Yes, celebrating you on your path. So because reciprocal likely counts as paid because it's barter, that wouldn't count as pro bono. But any other, if you already volunteer, if you're already doing any other pro bono, absolutely counts. So we don't want, part of my challenge with ICW is I was like, all these chapters are doing all these things for this 1 week and we're saturating the market versus coming together. So that's partly part of the vision. So we want you to get as much credit as possible for what you're already doing. I just think reciprocoach, I believe, counts as barter, which is paid, which is great. So that wouldn't count, but anything else would.
Great question. Thank you. Other questions?
Yes, so I had a question and it was answered, but that's really more how it's going to work. So I do have a big network and I imagine people will sign up. And so I just want to be clear so that I'm respectful and do a good job for these people that I want to help and support pro bono. So 3 hours is the minimum and it's during this period, correct?
It's a great question, and you're helping us segue into the next section. So, Nina and Kim, are you good if we keep going?
Yes.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I'm going to turn it over to Monica, who is going to take what you were just saying about the logistics, how we do it with the criteria, all of those kind of things, and specifically, physically, how we do it. So, Monica, it's all yours.
Great. Thanks, everyone. So my name's Monica Muraka. I'm the director of events for the San Francisco Bay Area chapter. And so I look after all of our social impact, pro bono, and conferences. We participated last year for the first time in partnering as a partner chapter with ICFLA, and we were shocked. We had so many coaches sign up, and we had from people signed up and did no hours because they ended up getting too busy to I think one person did almost 40 hours because she just really loved it and like wanted to go out and have a huge impact. So you can do anything that you want to. Our request is just that it's a minimum of 3 hours. And I'll show you in a moment where to sign up. But let me just clarify, and I put it into the chat. 3 hours can be done any way you want. It can be 3 1-hour sessions. It could be 6 30-minute sessions. It could be 45 minutes. It can be whatever time component you want with those folks. Like, so for example, in our chapter, we do speed coaching at conferences for 30 minutes pro bono. So a lot of our coaches like to do that and do more, work with more people. And you can have the same person have multiple sessions, or you can have different people. It's really up to you. Our request is that you have a total of 3 hours between April 1st and May 18th. Okay, so let me show you how to sign up. I'm going to screen share here. Okay. So here's the website, and maybe if someone can drop the link into chat of the ICFLA's website. All of the different chapters you'll see are listed here who are currently participating. So in addition to San Francisco, we've got Metro DC, High County, San Diego, North Texas, South Florida, New Mexico, and Connecticut, and we'll probably get more as more and more chapters learn. So you can see there's a lot of folks. It's 3 hours, as we talked about. It can be individual, team, group, mentor, or coaching supervision. So any of those count. You can do it to anyone. It can be anyone in this country, outside of this country. So location's not a restriction. In terms of the events, if you're just deciding that you want to give pro bono, for example, to folks affected from the LA fires or different types of events that have to do with crises, we're actually offering some support for that as well, because it does require a little bit more of a skill set of being able to hold folks going through crisis. So there is a webinar for tomorrow, and you can stay tuned to additional type of webinars like this that might come up. This is the cool map that Tiffany talked about, and you'll start seeing it highlighted as to wherever people are coaching clients. You'll start to see the impact that we're having, and every week this will be updated. I'll show you in a moment how to do that, how to contribute to that. So what do you do? Step 1 is you fill out a commit to coaching Google form. It's a simple form, and what it does is that registers you for it. So you'll get emails from us. You'll get entered into this. What you do is when you go there, you just enter your email, and then it's very simple. You just enter literally what chapter you're from, what state you live in, and that you agree to the code of ethics. Once you do that, you will then get your access to step 2, which is a badge. So what is a badge? This is something that you can download, and you'll see that there's a generic one and then one for each of the chapters. And over time, more and more chapters will be added here. Like I just submitted our San Francisco badge this morning, so that'll get added. And what the badges look like is like this. And they have different logos on the left-hand side, depending on what chapter you're in. And you can go ahead and use that. We suggest LinkedIn. Our chapter is also going to create some of these for like Instagram and for Facebook and other mediums that you might want to post at. And that's a really fun way to showcase it on LinkedIn, in addition to whatever text you might write. So that's the second part is step one, you commit to coaching by submitting the form. And then step two, you download the badge. The only way to get the badge is to submit the commitment form. Step three is to track and submit your pro bono hours as you go. So actually, before I get to that, I forgot to mention the member toolkit. This is something new that we're doing this year based on the feedback from last year. So a lot of folks asked about how do I get clients? So remember those people who signed up who had 0 hours in the San Francisco Bay Area chapter, it was because they gave us feedback that they ended up not finding anyone. And it was challenging for them to find pro bono clients. So that's why we asked Nina and Dr. Kim to come today and talk a little bit about it, as well as in this member toolkit, there's examples of what might be language you could use in your posts for LinkedIn or Facebook, marketing examples, and some of the types of things that people did last year to give you some inspiration. So we hope that member toolkit's helpful for you. You can also access that through the commitment form. And then step three is once you're signed up after April 1st, we ask you to submit your pro bono coaching hours as you go. So let's say you do one, I don't know, the second week of April, and then another one the last week of April. At the end of the week, just go ahead and submit that form. It's a super simple form that just asks for a number of hours, number of people. And what that does is we will then weekly update this so we can see the number of coaches, the number of hours, the number of clients, and see how we're doing as a collective week to week. Not that I'm competitive, but I'm very curious between LA and San Francisco, who's going to have the most number this year. So I might come back and just check this out. And then if you submit your hours by May 20th, so that's 2 days after the end of International Coaching Week, into this coaching submission form, you will receive a coaching certificate. So it'll be a certificate that has your name and says you've completed this challenge. So it's also something nice that you can show on LinkedIn to that you are a part of this. And it's really great. Like a lot of our coaches last year showed this total number and their certificate. And it really, it again helps just promote your name. And, a lot of people had likes and comments. So it just gets your name more out there. And that's another way that you can make people aware of your coaching business. So let me just pause for a moment and see if there's any questions about the logistics of how to sign up. Okay. It's pretty simple. We tried to, thanks to Tiffany and Diana, 3rd year, it's very streamlined and very easy. And you can sign up at any point in time. So even if you find friends or others who want to sign up, just let them know to go to the website for ICFLA. You can start the pro bono coaching as of April 1st for it to count for this challenge. So that's the key. Between April 1st and May 18th, only within that time period does it count towards the challenge.
I have
Okay,
a quick
back to you,
question.
Heather. Yeah, go ahead.
So the participating coaches have to be full-fledged members of the various chapter? No? Okay.
No, it's
so
open to all coaches. Yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
Diana.
inclusive. It's a great way to meet coaches we're many of us are part of chapters and part of the International Coaching Federation, but I think that's a beautiful way to meet coaches all over the world. Because
Okay,
that's the other thing. We hope this helps you build your business, but also for those of us who are just on Zoom all day and doing this, it's also nice to have a community aspect.
Can you share again where to find the toolkit if we've already filled out these forms? Is that something that is attached to a response or?
Yeah, Tiffany, maybe you can take that one.
Absolutely. It will be attached to the commitment form. In the meantime, I will be emailing it out to you directly since you've already signed up. Yeah, I've got some goodies for you. So those are
You guys
coming.
are
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and I would just say if you guys have feedback or run into any issues or have any requests or suggestions, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us, Tiffany, Diana, myself, Heather, and then we have a whole committee of many other folks on the chapters. But we're really happy to hear and support you and, make this fun and let you be successful in this. All right, back over to you, Heather.
So we're doing great on time. We have just a few minutes to wrap up. So thank you all for getting on the call. We really hope that you will join the challenge. If you feel like, ooh, I love this, we're going to end like at least 1 minute early or 2 minutes. You could just go on right now and click on the challenge and sign up so that you have it done. It's easy to lose track of time. So couple to-dos as you leave. If you're interested, please sign up for the challenge. We'd love to have you a part of it. Please email, text, or call one of your coach friends or someone in your network to let them know about the challenge. And then there is, as Monica mentioned, a whole committee of people that are behind this work, and they are been working very hard, given a lot of feedback, really supported the program. So if you know who that is in your chapter, you may want to just drop them a note that says, a super big thank you for the work you're doing and the help that you are doing for the community. And then my last note is just, once again, give it up for Diana and Tiffany, because again, we would not be here without them, and they have been amazing. And as you heard, Tiffany's even doing manual things still to this day, helping us get information to you. So an extra special thank you to Tiffany. Unless you have any questions, I don't know how to save a chat, so I am just going to say, if you have any, before you hang up, either save the chat or click on the links like I do, which is probably the least efficient way to do it, so that you have everybody's LinkedIn information, and encourage you to network with them. And everybody have a great day, and we're glad to meet you and to get to work together.